Kale wiped grease from his hands and leaned over the engine of the small starship he was repairing. Sparks flew as the machinery hummed, and the smell of oil mixed with the sharp metallic scent of the ship. He was used to long hours alone in his workshop on the outskirts of the galaxy, far from the main trade routes. It was quiet, too quiet, and Kale liked it that way. He liked to work without interruption. But today a feeling crawled over him, prickling at the back of his neck. He paused and looked around. The shadows of his workshop seemed deeper than usual. A low growl echoed from outside, almost like a whisper, but there was nothing there. Kale shrugged. Probably just a rodent, he muttered. He turned back to the engine, trying to ignore the unease. Outside, the ground trembled lightly. Something heavy approached. From the darkness, glowing amber eyes emerged. Kale froze. The predator big cat had arrived. It was enormous, larger than any creature Kale had seen. Muscles rippled under its sleek, dark fur, and its claws scraped the metal floor as it moved silently. Its long tail swished with deadly precision, and its teeth glimmered like knives under the dim light. Kale took a cautious step back, grabbing a wrench. The predator paused, studying him. It was not wild, it was intelligent, calculated, trained. Kale realized this was no ordinary animal. Someone had sent it for him. His mind raced. Who would want him dead? He had fixed ships for smugglers and traders, but nothing that should have earned this level of attention. The creature lunged suddenly, faster than Kale expected. He barely rolled to the side, the predator crashing into the workshop walls, sending sparks and tools flying. Kale scrambled to his feet, narrowly avoiding the swipe of its claws. He ran to the storage shelves, knocking over boxes to create obstacles. The predator leapt over them effortlessly, each movement precise and terrifying. Kale ducked behind a heavy workbench, trying to catch his breath. He examined the creature. It had markings along its sides, strange symbols glowing faintly. Alien runes, Kale thought. Whoever engineered this predator had put thought into every detail. It was not just a killing machine, it was a weapon with intelligence. The predator prowled closer, sniffing the air, studying Kale's movements. He realized it was analyzing him, predicting his actions. If he wanted to survive, he would need more than speed, he would need strategy. Kale glanced at the engine he had been repairing. Sparks and metal scraps were scattered around. Maybe he could use them to his advantage. He grabbed a metal rod and tossed it across the room. The predator's eyes followed the movement instantly, and it leapt to intercept. Kale ducked and rolled to another corner, using the distraction to move closer to a storage crate filled with tools. He grabbed a welding torch, turning the flame on and keeping it between him and the predator. The creature hesitated, sniffing the heat, its ears twitching. Kale spoke softly, "Easy? I don't want to hurt you." He knew it would not understand words, but tone mattered. The predator's glowing eyes flickered, almost like recognition. It tilted its head, studying him, and Kale realized that it was testing him just as he was testing it. The predator crouched low, preparing to strike again. Kale had one idea, risky, but it was the only chance. He sprinted to the other side of the workshop, leaping onto a stack of crates, and gestured to the big cat. "Follow me," he shouted. The creature hesitated, then jumped with him, landing silently on the floor. It moved with perfect balance, almost as if it were reading his mind. Kale led it through the narrow corridors of the workshop, using every obstacle to slow it down. Sparks flew from damaged machinery and alarms started to ring. The predator adapted instantly, weaving through the chaos with unmatched skill. Kale realized that brute force would not defeat it. He would need to understand it, learn its limits, and maybe, just maybe, make it his ally instead of his executioner. Outside, the ground shook more violently. Kale glanced through the shattered doorway. The planet's surface was alive with movement. Machines and ships belonging to Commander Vera were patrolling, scanning the area. She had sent the predator, but why? Kale had to survive long enough to find out. He ducked behind a large crate, panting. The predator circled him, its eyes never leaving his face. Kale noticed something. When he stopped moving, it stopped. When he made sudden movements, it reacted instantly. The creature was intelligent, calculating. It was not just hunting, it was observing, learning, understanding. Kale had an idea. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device, one of his inventions, an old mechanic's gadget designed to emit pulses of energy. He turned it on, sending a low-frequency hum across the floor. The predator's ears twitched and it froze, confused. Kale took a deep breath and stepped forward slowly, showing no fear. "Look, I can help you," he said. The predator growled, a low vibration that shook the floor. Its eyes glowed brighter, but it did not attack. Kale realized that the predator could be reasoned with, not through words, but through confidence and presence. It was waiting to see what he would do next. Kale moved carefully toward the crates, then leaped onto the big cat's back, holding on tightly. The creature tensed for a moment, then relaxed as if acknowledging the choice Kale had made. Together they moved through the workshop and out into the open, avoiding the patrols. Kale held tight, understanding that survival depended on this unlikely partnership. The sky above was dark, filled with distant stars. The predator's claws dug into the ground as it sprinted across the terrain, powerful and unstoppable. Kale could feel the energy of the creature beneath him, muscles coiled and ready, senses sharper than any human's. He realized that if he could ride it well, they could escape Commander Vera's forces entirely. Kale whispered to the predator, "Let's go. We're leaving this place behind." The creature's ears twitched, and it leapt forward with incredible speed, disappearing into the darkness. Kale held on, heart pounding as the planet's surface blurred beneath them. The first deadly encounter had ended, but the journey was just beginning. He looked at the stars above and realized something important. This predator sent to kill him could now become his key to freedom. And with it he might survive, and even thrive, in the galaxy. Kale held tightly as the predator's powerful legs carried them across the jagged terrain. Rocks and twisted metal from old battles scraped against the creature's claws, sparks flying with every leap. The air was cold and filled with the smell of burnt metal. Kale had never moved this fast, never felt so alive and terrified at the same time. Behind them, he could hear the distant roar of engines. Commander Vera had not given up. She had sent her patrol ships to capture or destroy him. Kale knew that if they caught him there would be no mercy. The predator sensed it too, moving faster, agile over every piece of wreckage in the deserted battlefield. Kale scanned the ground as they passed. Wrecked starships and fallen towers littered the area. He quickly formulated a plan. The terrain could be their advantage. If he led the predator through the ruins cleverly, they could evade Vera's forces. He pointed toward a narrow path between two twisted ship hulls. The predator followed without hesitation, its glowing eyes fixed on him. They ducked and jumped through gaps, the predator leaping with perfect balance. Kale's heart raced as he realized how dangerous this chase had become. One wrong move, one slip, and both of them could fall into the jagged wreckage below. Yet, the predator moved like it belonged there, instinct guiding it as much as Kale's directions. Suddenly, a patrol drone appeared ahead, scanning the area with a bright blue light. Kale ducked, pulling the predator behind a fallen tower. Sparks from the wreckage illuminated their hiding spot. The drone scanned the area, its mechanical hum growing louder. Kale held his breath. The predator's tail flicked nervously but did not make a sound. The drone hovered closer and Kale realized it would detect them if they stayed still for too long. He whispered, "We need to move, but we need to be smart." The predator tilted its head, and Kale felt a strange understanding pass between them. With a swift motion, Kale signaled the creature to leap. They launched over the debris, landing silently on the other side. The drone's light scanned the area, but they had disappeared. Kale grinned, adrenaline pumping through his veins. Riding this predator was unlike anything he had ever imagined. Its strength and speed made him feel unstoppable, yet every moment demanded precision and focus. As they moved deeper into the wreckage, Kale noticed signs of alien construction, strange devices half buried in sand and metal. He slowed the predator slightly, examining the tech. It looked like remnants of an ancient war. Kale realized the predator was built to operate in environments like this. Its creators had made it capable of navigating ruins, sensing danger, and reacting faster than any human could. Kale had an idea. "We can use this," he said softly. He noticed a collapsed bridge ahead, heavy metal beams blocking the path. If they triggered a collapse at the right time, it could stop any pursuers. The predator's ears flicked, understanding the plan immediately. Kale slid from its back and quickly adjusted the structure using some old support wires and his tools. He leapt back onto the predator as it crouched low, ready to spring. With a powerful push, it launched them forward just as the bridge behind them collapsed with a deafening crash. Dust and sparks filled the air, and the patrol ships approaching from behind were forced to slow. Kale felt a surge of triumph. He was surviving, and the predator was more than a companion, it was a partner. The chase continued through twisted canyons and shattered landscapes. Kale learned to anticipate the predator's movements, leaning with its jumps and holding on during sharp turns. The creature reacted to his weight, almost as if it sensed his intentions. For the first time, Kale realized that he could not just ride, it required trust, timing, and cooperation. Night fell and the shadows grew long. Kale could see the faint glow of patrol ships above, their searchlights sweeping across the terrain. The Predator paused for a moment, sensing something Kale could not. He looked up and saw a massive, glowing alien construct in the distance. It was part of Vera's monitoring network, sending signals across the planet to locate him. Kale whispered, "We can't go that way. Too risky." The Predator lowered its body, ready to sprint in a different direction. Kale guided it toward a narrow canyon, barely wide enough for the creature to pass. They moved silently, the walls of rock shielding them from detection. The patrol ships slowed, unable to follow through the tight passage. Inside the canyon, Kale finally felt a moment of calm. He slid off the Predator's back and crouched behind a boulder. The creature settled beside him, eyes glowing softly, ears alert. Kale examined his surroundings. The canyon led to the edge of a cliff, with open space and stars visible beyond. It was risky, but if they jumped they could escape the planet entirely. Kale climbed onto the Predator again and whispered, "Ready? One leap and we leave everything behind." The Predator growled softly, a low vibration of understanding. Kale's hands tightened on its fur as they sprinted toward the cliff. The patrol ships in the distance tried to follow, firing energy pulses, but the Predator leapt with incredible power. They soared through the air, the wind whipping past them, until they landed on a hovering transport platform Kale had spotted earlier. Sparks flew as claws and metal met the deck, but they stayed balanced. The patrol ships skidded to a halt, unable to pursue further. Kale looked down at the Predator, breathing heavily. "You're incredible," he said. The creature purred, brushing against him. Kale realized that what had started as a deadly chase had transformed into a partnership. He had survived by using his mind, his instincts, and the Predator's unmatched abilities. Together they were unstoppable. The platform lifted into the sky and Kale gazed at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him. He knew that this was only the beginning. Commander Vera would not give up, but with the Predator at his side, Kale had a chance. They could face anything together. The Predator's eyes glowed with intelligence and awareness, no longer just a weapon of destruction. Kale felt a strange connection, a bond that went beyond survival. He realized that he could ride this Predator not just to escape, but to explore, to challenge, and maybe even to change the galaxy. The chase through the wreckage had ended, but the real journey was only beginning. Kale tightened his grip and whispered, "Let's go. The galaxy is waiting." The Predator growled softly in response, ready for the adventure that lay ahead. Kale rode the Predator through the empty canyons, the stars above sparkling like distant fires. The platform had brought them out of immediate danger, but Kale knew Commander Vera would not give up easily. Her forces would search every planet, every system until they found him. He needed a plan, and he needed the Predator more than ever. For the first time, Kale had a moment to observe the creature closely. Its sleek black fur shimmered under the starlight. Muscles rippled beneath the surface, and its eyes glowed with intelligence. It was no ordinary animal. It had instincts and awareness that far surpassed anything Kale had ever seen. But it was also restless, its body tensed as if it sensed danger even where none existed. Kale leaned forward and touched its neck gently. The Predator flinched slightly but did not pull away. "I know you were sent to kill me," Kale said softly, "but we both know that fight is pointless. We're stronger together than against each other." The creature tilted its head, listening, and Kale realized that this bond would not form through words alone. He would have to show trust, patience, and cleverness. They traveled through asteroid fields and abandoned spaceports, avoiding the patrols that Vera had sent. Kale began to experiment, giving small commands, gestures, nudges, and gentle pushes, and the Predator responded. It crouched when he gestured to hide, leapt when he signaled to jump, and slowed its pace when he showed caution. A pattern began to emerge. Kale saw that the Predator was capable of learning, capable of understanding cooperation. One evening as they rested on a barren moon, Kale prepared a small meal. The Predator crouched nearby, watching him carefully, ears twitching. Kale spoke softly while cooking, "You don't have to eat me and I don't have to hurt you. We can survive like this." The creature sniffed the food but did not move closer. Kale understood, it needed to see that he respected it, that he was not a threat. Over the next few days, Kale continued training, not with force but with patience. He mimicked movements, showing the Predator how to move silently, how to react to danger, how to anticipate threats. Slowly, the creature began to trust him, following his lead, allowing him to guide its leaps and sprints. By the time they reached the edge of a deserted spaceport, Kale realized they were no longer hunter and prey, they were partners. Kale also discovered something remarkable. The predator had faint alien markings along its fur, symbols that glowed softly at night. Using his mechanical tools and a portable scanner, he detected traces of biomemory within the creature. It seemed that the predator had been engineered not only to hunt but to remember, to learn, and even to follow complex strategies. Kale felt a surge of respect. This was no simple beast, it was intelligent, and now it was choosing to ally with him. As they navigated through abandoned starships, Kale began to experiment further. He climbed onto the predator's back and guided it through a narrow corridor filled with debris. The creature adapted instantly, leaping over obstacles, weaving around twisted metal, and landing without error. Kale realized that the predator had instincts finely tuned for survival, but his guidance allowed it to reach even higher efficiency. Together they were a perfect team. One night, as they rested under a sky full of distant suns, Kale spoke again. "We've survived together this far. I think we can do more than just survive. Maybe we can even change things." The predator purred in response, a low vibration that shook Kale's chest. It was as if it understood the concept of purpose, of partnership. Their bond became more than survival. Kale found himself relying on the predator's senses, its ability to detect approaching ships, hidden traps, or unstable terrain. In turn, the predator began to anticipate Kale's commands without hesitation. It would pause when he needed to think, leap when he signaled danger, and protect him instinctively. It was an unlikely friendship, forged in danger and trust. They reached the outskirts of an asteroid colony where Vera's forces had recently patrolled. Kale guided the predator carefully, moving silently between structures, avoiding detection. The predator crouched low, moving like a shadow beside him. Kale marveled at its intelligence, realizing that a creature engineered to kill could also learn compassion and loyalty. He touched its side gently. "You're amazing," he whispered. Suddenly, a patrol drone appeared around a corner. Kale froze. The predator flared its claws, but Kale held it back. He gestured slowly, guiding it behind a pile of wreckage. The drone passed, scanning the area, unaware of their presence. Kale exhaled, feeling the predator's warmth beneath him. "See? We can handle this together." The predator purred softly, its eyes glowing faintly. Over the next several days, Kale and the predator explored abandoned stations, scavenged supplies, and repaired a small ship. The predator learned to wait while Kale worked, guarding him instinctively, reacting to every sound and shadow. Kale realized that this bond was more than survival, it was mutual respect. The predator had chosen him as a companion, and he had chosen it as a partner. As they prepared to leave the system, Kale looked down at the creature. "We've come a long way. They sent you to kill me, but instead, we've found each other." The predator tilted its head, brushing against Kale's arm, almost like an acknowledgement. Kale smiled, feeling a sense of relief and pride. He knew that with the predator by his side, he could face anything in the galaxy. The next day they made their way to a hidden starship hangar. Kale climbed aboard the small vessel, the predator following with surprising agility. As they lifted off, Kale felt the thrill of freedom. The galaxy stretched out before them, dangerous, unknown, but full of opportunity. With this predator as his ally, he knew he was no longer just a mechanic trying to survive. He was a human capable of facing the greatest challenges the stars could throw at him. Kale adjusted the controls, and the predator crouched at the front of the ship, sensing the environment, ready for anything. Kale whispered, "Let's see what's out there." The predator growled softly, and together, they jumped into hyperspace, leaving the wreckage of the past behind. For the first time, Kale understood the truth: survival alone was not enough. Intelligence, courage, and trust could turn even the deadliest enemy into the strongest ally. And in the quiet moments, with the predator beside him, Kale knew that an unlikely bond had formed, one that could change not just their fate, but the fate of the galaxy itself. Kale gripped the controls tightly as the small ship lifted from the hidden hangar. The predator crouched at the front, its eyes scanning the dark expanse of space. Kale could feel its muscles tensing, ready to react to anything. The galaxy stretched before them, wide and dangerous, but for the first time he felt alive, capable, and in control. Behind them, the faint glow of patrol ships appeared, searching the hangar and the surrounding system. Commander Vera's forces were relentless. Kale adjusted the ship's thrusters, weaving through asteroid fields and debris to evade detection. The predator's instincts guided him, alerting him to danger even before he saw it. Together they moved like a single being, coordinated and precise. A missile streaked past, narrowly missing the hull. Kale slammed the controls, dodging through a cluster of broken satellites. The Predator growled, low and warning, but Kale knew it trusted him. He leaned forward, eyes scanning the space ahead, heart pounding. The patrol ships were fast, but the Predator's intuition and his own cleverness made them a nearly unstoppable team. Kale remembered the strange alien devices he had seen in the wreckage earlier. He pulled out a small scanner and began activating the Predator's embedded signals. The Predator's body shimmered faintly as the alien tech reacted to the environment. Kale realized that the creature could manipulate energy fields in a limited way, enough to disrupt tracking systems. It was an advantage he could use. The patrol ships fired again, energy beams streaking across space. Kale leaned into the Predator, whispering, "Get ready. We're going to make this count." The Predator crouched, muscles coiled. Kale adjusted the ship's trajectory and aimed for a narrow gap between two large asteroids. With a powerful leap, aided by the Predator's energy pulse, they shot through the gap, engines sparking and hull rattling. The patrol ships were momentarily blinded by the asteroid shadows. Kale took the opportunity to push the ship into a hidden gravity tunnel. The Predator's eyes glowed, sensing the tunnel's magnetic currents. Kale held on as the ship spiraled through, weaving and turning at impossible angles. Every move was calculated, every reaction synchronized with the Predator's instincts. Once through the tunnel, Kale slowed the ship, taking a moment to catch his breath. The stars stretched out in all directions, a vast expanse of freedom. The Predator crouched beside him, its breathing steady, eyes scanning the void. Kale realized that this creature, sent to kill him, had become his protector, his guide, and his partner. Kale adjusted the ship's systems, activating stealth shields and cloaking fields. The patrol ships were still searching, but the Predator's energy pulses and Kale's quick thinking kept them hidden. He whispered, "We're not out of danger yet, but we're closer than we've ever been." The Predator purred softly, a vibration of agreement, and Kale felt a bond stronger than fear or survival. They passed through the remains of a destroyed station, twisting between floating metal and shattered hulls. Kale used every trick he knew, slowing and speeding unpredictably, using gravity wells and debris to mask their movements. The Predator's instincts guided him, sensing safe paths and alerting him to danger before he could react. Kale realized that riding this creature was more than survival, it was a partnership built on trust and intelligence. Suddenly, a new threat appeared, a massive alien destroyer, faster and stronger than anything Kale had encountered. It locked onto them with bright tracking beams. Kale's heart raced, but he stayed calm, focusing on the Predator. The creature crouched low, muscles coiled, ready to leap. Kale adjusted the ship's engines, aiming for a risky maneuver through a narrow asteroid cluster. With a mighty jump, aided by the Predator's energy pulse, they soared through the gaps, the destroyer firing in vain. Metal scraped metal as they narrowly avoided collisions. Kale felt the thrill of freedom and danger all at once. Behind them, the destroyer was forced to retreat, unable to match their speed and precision. Kale let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. The Predator settled beside him, ears twitching, still alert. Kale patted its side gently. "We did it. We escaped, for now." The creature purred, a sound that vibrated deep in Kale's chest. He realized that their bond was complete. The Predator no longer saw him as prey or a threat, it saw him as a partner. They flew past asteroid belts and abandoned colonies, searching for a safe path deeper into the galaxy. Kale adjusted the ship's navigation systems, plotting a course to uncharted regions. The Predator's senses guided him to paths he would never have noticed alone, avoiding dangers and finding shortcuts that saved precious time. As they traveled, Kale reflected on how much had changed. A deadly predator had become his ally. A chase that could have ended in death had become a journey of trust and cooperation. He realized that human ingenuity, courage, and empathy had turned a weapon into a partner, proving that intelligence and understanding could triumph over violence. Kale and the Predator reached a quiet nebula, a safe hiding place among the swirling gases. He powered down the engines and let the ship drift. The Predator crouched beside him, watching the stars. Kale whispered, "We've made it this far, but the galaxy is bigger and dangers are everywhere. We have to stay ready." The Predator's eyes glowed softly as if agreeing. In the silence of the nebula, Kale felt a sense of peace. They had escaped Vera's immediate threat, but he knew she would continue hunting. Yet, with the Predator at his side, he was no longer alone. He was capable, clever, and prepared. The Predator's strength, intelligence, and loyalty had transformed their flight into a real chance for freedom. Kale adjusted the ship's systems for long-range travel. "We're going farther than anyone expects," he said, voice steady. The Predator leaned against him, sensing his determination. Together they would face the galaxy, unpredictable, dangerous but filled with opportunities. Kale knew that the lessons of trust, courage and ingenuity would carry them through any challenge. As they left the nebula, Kale looked at the stars stretching endlessly before him. He whispered, "Let's see what's out there. The galaxy is ours to explore, together." The Predator growled softly and they surged forward, leaving the wreckage and pursuit behind, ready for whatever adventure awaited them among the stars. The escape was complete, but the real journey, one of trust, courage and discovery, was only beginning. Kale had found a partner in the most unlikely of creatures and together, they would face the galaxy's dangers, proving that even the deadliest challenges could be met with intelligence, patience and unity. Kale and the Predator soared through uncharted space, leaving behind the systems where Commander Vera had hunted them. The stars stretched endlessly, bright and distant, and the silence of the void felt different from the chaos they had escaped. For the first time, Kale allowed himself to think about the future, about what they could become together. The Predator crouched at the front of the ship, eyes glowing softly. It was no longer a weapon sent to kill him. It was a companion, intelligent, aware and loyal. Kale reached out, placing a hand on its sleek fur. The creature nuzzled him gently, acknowledging the bond they had forged. Kale smiled, feeling a strange mixture of relief and pride. They had survived impossible odds and now shared a connection that could change everything. As they traveled, Kale detected signals from distant colonies. Many were in chaos, struggling under pirate raids or alien threats. The galaxy was dangerous, and he realized that the Predator's abilities and his own skills could make a difference. They could be more than survivors. They could become protectors, explorers, even leaders in a galaxy that had never expected a human and an alien predator to rise together. Their first stop was a small, abandoned trade station. Kale landed the ship carefully, the Predator leaping down with grace and agility. Together, they explored the station, scavenging supplies and repairing their vessel. The Predator's senses detected dangers Kale could not see, guiding him through unstable corridors and hidden traps. It had become his guide as well as his ally, and Kale marveled at how much he had learned from it. While gathering supplies, Kale noticed a distress signal from a nearby planet. A colony was under attack by mercenaries, and its inhabitants were helpless. Kale hesitated for a moment. They could ignore it, stay safe and continue traveling. But the Predator growled softly as if urging him to act. Kale nodded. "You're right. We can't just run forever. Let's help them." They set a course for the colony, approaching cautiously. The mercenaries were heavily armed, but Kale had a plan. Using the Predator's strength and instincts, they struck from the shadows. The Predator leapt over barricades and crushed vehicles with ease, while Kale used his mechanical skills to disable weapons and set traps. Together they moved like a single force, unpredictable and unstoppable. The colony's inhabitants watched in awe as a human rode a massive alien predator, driving back the mercenaries. Kale shouted commands to guide the Predator, and it responded instantly, anticipating his thoughts and moves. They worked as one, combining strategy, courage and raw power. By the time the last mercenary fled, the colony was safe. The humans cheered, and Kale realized that their bond was more than personal. It was an example of what could be achieved when two different beings worked together. Kale took a moment to rest beside the Predator, looking at the stars above. "We've made a difference today," he said softly. The creature purred, vibrating gently against him. Kale understood that this was only the beginning. Together they could travel the galaxy, protect those in need, and build alliances that no one had ever imagined. The Predator's abilities, combined with human ingenuity, created something new and powerful. The next challenge came sooner than expected. A massive fleet appeared on the edge of the system, an organized force that was clearly searching for him. Kale recognized the markings of Vera's faction. They had followed him, relentless as always. But this time Kale was ready. He climbed onto the Predator's back and felt its muscles coil beneath him, ready to launch. Kale guided the Predator through a series of daring maneuvers, weaving between asteroid belts and space debris. The fleet fired relentlessly, but the Predator's agility and Kale's quick thinking allowed them to evade every attack. Kale realized that this was no longer a fight for survival, it was a demonstration of their strength and intelligence. Together, they were a force no enemy could easily predict or defeat. Using a combination of stealth tactics and the Predator's natural abilities, Kale led the fleet into a trap. He had noticed an abandoned station with automated defense systems. With precise timing, he lured the pursuing ships into the station's defensive perimeter. The turrets activated, striking the enemy ships and forcing the fleet to retreat. Kale and the Predator had turned the tables. As the danger faded, Kale looked down at the Predator. "We did it. Not just for us but for everyone out there who has no one to protect them." The creature purred, and Kale realized that the bond between them had grown into something extraordinary. It was trust, loyalty, and intelligence, combined into a single unstoppable force. In the following weeks, Kale and the Predator traveled from system to system, helping colonies under attack, rescuing stranded civilians and forging alliances. Word spread of the human and the alien Predator who moved together like one mind. The galaxy began to see that humans, despite being underestimated, could be clever, courageous, and capable of incredible feats. Kale had become a symbol not of fear but of hope. The Predator grew stronger too. Kale taught it to coordinate with ships and other allies, to anticipate threats in space as well as on land. Their partnership evolved from survival to strategy, and they became known as a duo that could face any danger. They had learned from each other, Kale gaining strength, agility, and insight from the Predator, and the Predator gaining trust, patience, and intelligence from Kale. One evening, as they rested near a glowing nebula, Kale looked at the stars and the creature beside him. "We've come a long way," he said. "From being hunted to becoming something new, something stronger. We're not just surviving anymore. We're shaping the galaxy." The Predator purred in response, brushing against him, and Kale knew they were ready for whatever challenges awaited. Kale's mind raced with possibilities. They could form a network of protection, unite scattered colonies, and create a new alliance of humans and alien species. The Predator's abilities and his own ingenuity made them a combination no one could ignore. Together they were more than a human and a Predator, they were a symbol of unity, strength, and hope. As they lifted off into hyperspace, Kale whispered, "The galaxy is ours to explore. The future is ours to protect." The Predator growled softly, and Kale felt a surge of confidence. They had faced impossible odds, survived deadly hunts, and forged a bond that defied expectations. Now they were ready to face the galaxy not as hunted and hunter, but as partners, leaders, and a new alliance that could change everything. Kale knew the journey would be long and dangers would always lie ahead. But he also knew that with the Predator at his side, no challenge was insurmountable. Together they had escaped death, built trust, and created a partnership that could reshape the universe. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of opportunity, danger, and adventure. And as the small ship surged forward, Kale felt a deep sense of purpose. He was no longer just a human mechanic, no longer just a survivor. He was a pioneer, a protector, and the co-creator of a new alliance between species, proving that intelligence, courage, and trust could overcome even the deadliest challenges. The galaxy awaited, and together, Kale and the Predator would face it, unstoppable and united.